Welcome to a very special edition of In the Chair With. I'm backstage at the Islington Assembly Hall with Edge of Paradise. Fresh off of their high energy performance, we dive into the musical evolution, the challenges of life on tour, the drum company that came in and saved the day, and their exciting upcoming album. Margarita and the band share their creative process, talk about blending music with visual art, and offer some inspiring advice for musicians. Stick around for an exclusive behind the scenes look at one of the most dynamic metal bands on the rise. Let's get started. This is In the Chair With.
So here I am, backstage with Edge of Paradise. Hey, what a fantastic gig. I've known you as a band, but only over the last month. Shame on me, and shame on you if you don't know the band already. So I listened to the music, I became sort of familiar with it over the last couple of weeks. But then the difference in life for me was just the sheer amount of kind of energy. Like you all hit it like really hard. And I hope that the coming video footage will do it some justice. And in particular, yourself, Margarita, that is absolutely insane. Just the energy, just boom, the strength. It was a very pleasant experience.
You wouldn't know that we haven't slept in 40 hours.
Yeah, I heard. It's been a long way. Did you come from before?
Netherlands.
That
was the last show, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So by the ferry, no rest to the water going, choppy, this.
I passed out, like, it's like, you know, it makes you fall asleep.
He slept for the rest of us.
So someone's got to. But I thank you very much. Thank you, despite being sleep deprived and probably desperate for a few hours, keep here chatting. So talk to me about kind of the evolution of the band and how that came about and the philosophy behind it.
Yeah, well, Dave and I started the band. Dave is not here. He's in Netherlands.
He got stuck in there.
But him and I started the band, and it really kind of picked up in 2017 when we released our album Universe, and then kind of started the theme that we have that we kind of grow upon. We started touring a lot more, and we did a Japan tour, we did a European tour with Sonata Arctica. So we really started,
I love that band.
Yeah,
it's a huge soft spot for that band.
Oh, that's cool. They're actually touring with Firewind now, who we just toured with in the States.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a small world.
It won't be long before they're touring with you, yeah? This is the plan, yeah?
Yeah, so it's been really cool. I mean, obviously we had the pandemic in the middle. We had a lot of touring plans, but they got cancelled, unfortunately. But it gave us a chance to create another album, The Unknown, which I think really defined our sound. And then from there, we built upon that, and then Hologram came.
Yeah.
And now we have a new one coming out on Napalm in February of 2025. We already have the first single, Road.
Yes, it's out.
Yeah, next single is going to be in December. So yeah, we're excited to grow a stage show in the States. We'll have bigger production.
Mm-hmm.
Here we're, bringing everything over. We're still working on that, but eventually we really want to have a stage show that kind of tells the story and the theme of the band to really support.
And in each individual kind of member, you kind of sort of go through maybe some of your influences or some of the nuance that you bring into the band. What kind of drives you?
Okay.
We'll start with yourself.
Oh, sure. Can you repeat the question?
Okay.
Influences.
Yeah. So influences and sort of individual style and
Right.
what your kind of personal take is on what you bring to the band.
So I joined the band when we were supposed to go on tour with Hammerful and Beast in Black, and that's where they brought me in. Unfortunately, she said COVID happened, so we couldn't go on tour. So Margarita had these ideas for the album. And she sent me the ideas, and I started building some drum patterns, and that's how it was formed. And I felt like my chip in on the album was, I thought of the music as a powerful thing more than super technical.
Mm-hmm.
I consider myself more like a steady, powerful drummer. I mean, I can play other instruments, but I thought of when I was making drum parts for the album, I thought of making more like a rock, but still without losing the metal part of Edge of Paradise, right?
But also he brings more of the modern industrial elements. And he's like, because we really wanted the songs to kind of have that machine.
The punchy thing. So I really like that kind of music. So I listened to it a lot, and I wanted to bring that into the Paradise. And I feel like it comes through on the Unknown, and on Hologram it comes through more. Like that kind of feeling of like
and
like
now
a
the
machine.
new album, he really did some super cool stuff.
Yeah. Was that a case of pushing yourself, or were these ideas that you already had but really wanted to bring forward?
I always bring ideas to the table, but at the end, like the songs come together when we go to the studio.
Well, for sure.
Yeah, Margarita brings me these ideas, and she's like, "Can you do like?" And I was like, "I don't know what that means, but I'll do my best."
Oh, isn't there? There's so many memes based on that, where people trying to describe things to the drummer.
But I'm like, imagine you are in space and then you get invaded by this.
That's how she explains drum parts.
Okay, that's how she writes drum parts, or your choreographs, and if you mind, it's a lot to pick apart.
And then the shards of glass are raining on you. So how would you play? Kind of like.
But yeah, I mean, still in this new album, we still try to keep it. I don't want to say simple, but like easy to hear, so like people enjoy the music, and it's like it's like an experience to.
It's kind of rock industrial / punch in the face, but without it being metal and conflagrated and confusing for people.
Not that there's something wrong with it.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of the thing that Edge Paradise is. I feel like it's going for, and I really enjoy it.
Well, it's slammed from what.
That's the word I was looking. It has to slam.
That's a slap in the face.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, from a videographer, since the drummer is always further away. I always like to try and get kind of on stage because you get some cool drum shots.
Right.
But I was looking at you going, and it's like, this hits. I just wish I could capture it better. Wish I had longer arms. And my camera.
I try to bring that energy on stage too, even if afterwards my neck is killing me. It doesn't matter. But
by the way, shout out to Drum Tech for even providing us drums to slam on.
Oh, okay.
On this tour, we had some issues with the drum, so we contacted Drum Tech company from Germany, and they were super kind, super easy to work with. They were like, "Guys, we really like you. Whatever you guys need, we're here for you." And they literally just gave us a drum set to play on the tour. So thank you guys.
So well, that's awesome.
Check them out. Drum Tech.
Really glad that pulled through then. It's awesome. I think there's a lot of that. There's a matter whether it's like a drum selling company or individual musicians or people kind of on the fringes like videographers. The community aspect. As soon as one of our own is in the shit, right. we can swear on this. It's fine. There's a rush to kind of come and solve, and that's just so good to see. And I think you don't see it in a lot of other kind of like fields of music.
Right.
You're very much left out there, and it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
And shout out to Drum Tech in Germany. There we are. I'll put a link.
Check them out.
Link below. Not sure if any of our viewers will go and suddenly buy a drum kit off them, but you should. But you should. They're good. They sound good. Okay, moving on. I'll pass the question to you.
Dirk, play guitar. My main influence were old school Black Sabbath.
Yeah, I caught you playing Warpigs. It's like Warpigs is one of my favourite songs.
Yeah, right. You saw the sound
check. I saw the sound check. Yeah.
So that's what I was mostly into. Like my main inspiration. I started to play guitar, and then obviously the more modern Lamb of God, progressive stuff, Dream Theater, fusion, jazz and rock mixing, Pretty much that's what I used to listen all the time.
When did you pick it? Has this always been a guitar thing since you were young?
Yeah, pretty much I started kind of late. 15 to 16 years old. It's kind of late. Yeah. Usually people start very early.
Yeah, it's a pain, isn't it? Because you see it on like Instagram. You see this 8-year-old just like doing all this stuff, and you're just like, I want to put my guitar in the bin. But I started my guitar journey when I was 15. I was from 4 keyboards, self-taught. And then
Yeah, same,
no one would play with me or understand the music that I was doing because it was pretty progressive metal before I even discovered like progressive metal. So I got the guitar just to purely do all of the backing and this and that. And I learned listen to like Pink Floyd albums and to like
Try to
learn.
figure out stuff for yourself.
Yeah, I think
it's pretty much that's it. Try to.
And I do think that from a self-taught perspective, this lends itself very well into this style of music and this style of band, and it's quite effective.
It's positive because you kind of force yourself to develop something more unique.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, if you have the opportunity to do a more academic study, it's a plus.
Yeah.
So
I
strongly recommend people to do like self-taught.
Yeah, I'm good at the same. I'm better to be the lone wolf and find your own way.
Yes.
You could pick up the academia later when you understand it. Because what normally happens is
There's no rules.
yeah, and it's music.
What I did is for me it works. So,
Yeah, it's clearly working. It's clearly working. After the little sleep you've had, it may not feel like it, but it is working. And yourself?
Kenny, bass, also self-taught. Started off into like 90s rock, I guess. My parents listened to a lot of like oldies and stuff, which has amazing bass lines, from the 70s, 80s and stuff. Then went through like a death metal phase in high school, and then now I just listen to everything. Like I like proggy stuff, like symphony that we're talking with right now. Into that. I've actually liked all the headliners we've toured with. They've all been really good. My style is whatever the song calls for. It might be a little more technical, it might be really basic, it might be like just flowing gamey, like his beats are really fun to play to. So, just whatever the style of the song calls for, I try to fit in there. Just make it, whatever it ends up being.
What's been the most kind of challenging, the kind of the stuff that you've been writing recently? What's been the most kind of challenging part?
There's one song on the new album that like almost has a pseudo bass solo for once, which is unusual.
Good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So and then other guitarist Dave comes in with a shredding solo on top of it.
Someone on the other side of here.
I think so. Yeah. Like I haven't heard the final mix. I don't think it's been fully mixed yet.
It is. That's the
I don't think that's the one.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I haven't heard it yet. Like if that's the one, like there's a total breakdown towards the end of the song that sounded really cool when we were recording it, so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. But all these songs are so much fun to play live. The energy's there, and
yeah, well, you're all moving about on stage. You're still popping about doing your own thing, and then together and whatever. It looked like you were enjoying playing music, and like I'm probably going to get criticised by my boss for this, but there's been many a time I like tonight. I will come to a gig and it's like, I love Symphony Extra and I enjoyed your music, I enjoyed talking with you, and it's like, okay, I see a Symphony Extra, I start hearing them, and it's like, as good as they are, it's like listening to the CD, and and it's like the energy when you get to that kind of level that just almost, for me, maybe it's just my way my brain works, but it just disappears a little bit. And I don't mind. I'd rather be, speak to people that you've still got the drive and the youthfulness, and they're on their way up. And I think that's just for me as a viewer, as a listener, as a videographer. This is what I enjoy. So it's been an absolute pleasure. So how much more of this tour have you got left to do?
about half.
We were halfway there. About halfway.
Any huge problems so far, or was it all kind of run super smooth? The sound engineer behind Cam, you're more welcome.
You don't have a background on your phone.
He's a bit green there when I said that. It's like,
Especially coming from the
Pipe down over there.
our team isn't big, isn't huge, so Brandon, he's been really helpful, and we all kind of have to chip in other ways besides music, right? Drive.
We're all here to survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
But also we usually have two guitar players.
Right.
So Dave isn't here today, but there's two guitars, a little more power as well. So that's a challenge, but he's joining us in the next shows. flying into here, we had a bit of challenge in the vehicle. We didn't sleep for 2-3 days on the first edge.
The dashboard or from van
Oh
went
yeah.
dark.
Yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
why
we
I
have no
forgot about that. We
dashboard.
gotta deal with that.
Okay, so you don't know what you're doing.
Pretty much,
no backup cam, no
I think
miles per hour.
It might be the case that underneath there's a panel of fuses, and basically all it is
Yeah.
like.
That's why he's
Probably cool.
I don't drive a car. I'm a motorcyclist, but
Oh.
I've had the problem with an ex-partner's car.
Why don't we figure that?
But we still need to find the replacement part. We didn't have time. We did
Yeah,
Yeah,
birthday
there's-
was dark.
And we have a 12-hour drive after this, so yeah. I mean, usually, there's two sides. When you're in a tour bus, you're kind of stuck to whatever the tour bus is doing. When you're by yourself, you can kind of more in control of where you want to go, what you want to see. And we love Europe, so it's kind of cool. We get to decide where we're gonna go. But then we gotta deal with the challenges.
Yeah.
And sometimes tour buses break down and you're stuck there and you miss shows. Somehow we made every show. So
Good. Well, touch wood. Long may that continue for the remainder of the tour.
I apologise for the interruption in proceedings, but here is a message from one of our sponsors, My Tees. Hey there, music lovers, are you guilty about where your band merch comes from? Well, we've got you covered, literally. Allow me to introduce you to My Tees, the home of sustainable, eco-friendly clothing that doesn't compromise on style or burn a hole in your wallet. Whether you're looking for organic cotton t-shirts or recycled band merch, My Tees is all about circular fashion, which means keeping products out of landfills and on your back where they belong. From ethically made t-shirts to one-of-a-kind prints, every purchase is kind to the planet. Supporting your favourite bands? Why not do it in style with eco-conscious choices that reflect your love for music and the environment? My Tees is 100% plastic-free, vegan-approved, and only works with fair trade certified partners. It's time to look good and feel good about what you're wearing. Check out mytees.uk today and upgrade your merch game sustainably.
this one was pretty close. People were telling us, you guys aren't gonna make it.
Really?
Because of a lot of paperwork. Well, we had all our visas or work permits, but all the gear, the carnet, but we made it. But a lot of people were saying we're never gonna make it, so we're like, I just went for it and ended up here.
I was talking to the Symphony X tour manager actually about the changes since we did this stupid thing called Brexit, which has made it harder for people to come to the UK. It's your first time here. How did you find the process?
No, it's not our first time. It's
No?
our third time.
Oh, okay. My
Actually,
apologies.
no, it's okay. We toured in 2021.
With temperance.
Yeah,
we
with
don't have
temperance.
temperance.
And we had no issues. We had a great time.
Mhm.
But the tour manager was saying that it's only recently that they updated all those rules. But we don't have that much gear that it's an issue of
Okay.
having like a tour bus with a big trailer. So we were able to.
To navigate that, okay. So just finally, well not finally, because I'm sure this is going to open up a huge can of worms. You yourself are hugely creative. I've seen you kind of doing art on the move. There's a graphic novel, which I'm going to assume contains all of your art and it tells its kind of story. You want to talk to me about that a little bit? Plug it. You should have bought a copy down with us actually. But
Every time I make a song, I always think of a story, and then it inspires an artwork. And then when the album is done, in my head, I already kind of have a story. So recently, it took me a year to make that novel, and I wanted to kind of make a story that takes you through the album and kind of to the next level, and really make people think about the themes of the songs. Because you can only say so much. And I like that people can interpret the songs in their own way, but I wanted to kind of share a little bit more of my thoughts and imagination and kind of the characters. Some people that have known us for years, when they read the novel, they're like, oh, I know who this character is, that's Jamie, or that's Kenny, or, so the personalities kind of come through in the story. But also it's an interactive novel, so when you read it, you can scan the barcodes, which takes you to the songs, to the videos.
okay.
You can kind of have the immersive experience.
have you always experienced, like in your mind, like your creation of music, have you always experienced kind of music with something visual and your art, or are these two separate attributes that you've now brought together?
No, it's well, the music came first, but my background, I was in theater for a long time. I did classical piano, theater, and dance. I always loved all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I love art. My mom always painted, and I grew up going to museums, all of that stuff. So when we started doing the band, I always kind of had that in my mind that I wanted to kind of combine all the dimensions together, and with the music videos.
Mm-hmm.
I always wanted the music videos to be very cinematic.
Yeah, well,
visual.
I was editing the last one for our post that you saw, and I was like, "Oh, this is awesome!"
Thank you. Yeah, so and I want to keep growing that. I want the music to be the first step into immersing the person, the listener into our world, multi-dimensional.
I think it kind of needs it now, because I keep always talking about this in my podcast. Remember the days when your band's favourite album was coming up, you'd queue outside a record shop, you'd buy like a CD. I'm a little bit too kind of young for records. I vaguely remember them being in shops, but you buy the CD, you open up, you've got the booklet, you've got all the lyrics, you've got lots of artwork, got lots of photos, and it was like this whole experience. And with the accessibility that streaming platforms like Spotify and all of that kind of provide, like that element, it's almost like selling a CD and producing a package like that is almost like it's more rare, and it's a bonus, and it's actually an extra investment that the band has to make, so therefore most bands don't really make it. So this is another unique way of kind of bringing that experience, that privacy to listen to the music in your own private domain and actually hold and look and give it that multi-sensory feel that wasn't there.
Yeah, it's hard these days to kind of, because of the costs, also to produce things. So I don't know, I was trying to figure out how to do a lot of it myself to not lose that element. Because for me, it's very important that people have that experience, with physical, also visual, every sense. Dimension.
It's good. It's a great. I mean, I don't have the capacity to do art with my music as much, so absolutely, totally envious of anyone that can. So just rounding up, like one of the things that, well, it's my personal philosophy, and it's a philosophy that is spread throughout Cultures as well. We work with a lot of musicians kind of coming up, undiscovered or kind of on their journey. What would each of you say as a message to anyone kind of looking at the music industry, struggling or not thinking of kind of using their talent? What would be your sort of words of wisdom, truth, experience, knowledge, empowerment, however you want to phrase it?
Go first.
I mean, I'll say if you really like what you do, if you're in love with music, if you like what you are creating, just don't give up and keep doing it, keep putting yourself out there however you can. Now you have YouTube, you have Instagram, you have TikTok, so if you have talent, if you have a band, if you have something that you believe in, just put it out there. If you believe in it, somebody will too, and it's gonna go up there.
Why?
So just don't stop it.
Wise words.
Yeah. Well, building upon what he said, I think the most important thing is you have to love what you do. And like I said earlier, have no fear.
No fear.
Yeah.
Why have no fear? Because is fear something that you had before, you've overcome?
Oh yeah, well, even like the song The Unknown, I kind of wrote that for myself. Don't fear the unknown. And I still have a lot of fear, but that's kind of, fear is a roadblock. So if you have no fear, you have all these endless possibilities, and you open the doors, and how do you evolve into a better tomorrow?
There's a psychological saying, isn't there, that it's like on the edge of fear, on the other side of fear, there's usually something brilliant to discover. It's like the roller coaster theory. I mean, I'm terrible with heights, and I don't even enjoy it when I finish. But most normal people go, "Oh, I don't really like this," and then they get on it, and they're like, "Ah, yeah." It's the same.
You know, it's been kind of a theme through the band. Wait, remember what you weren't there yet? We went to Iceland.
So you excluded, sorry.
We went to Iceland to film a video and it was called Face of Fear. And now we have a song and a new album called The Other Side of Fear. And it's kind of, yeah, it has a lot of meaning to me. So it's kind of a lot of sad.
For me, it's just like keep going. That's literally what makes me create. Keep creating. Doesn't matter if it's weird or just keep putting your identity. You know, and keep the excitement. You know, as much as you can. That's literally how I do.
Have you always had
Super
that?
simple, but
Well, no, but sometimes, you know, it's the Occam's razor, isn't it? The path of least resistance.
Yeah.
Have there been any times where that kind of motif of yours just to keep going has been challenged?
That's I mean, problems always happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you have a more what you do, the problem is just like a step
Yeah.
to become better. So make it simple.
Yeah.
Well, even yesterday we were like, oh, should we not go? Should we risk it? No, exactly.
There's always situations like that.
So,
Choose.
yeah, choose the other side.
And unfortunately, yeah, it leaves you last, having heard of everyone else's said. So.
Ditto. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, what they said.
But when you ask that question, you're describing a band that's you know, trying to get out there, trying to grow, trying to claw through, trying to climb. Like I was thinking, like, well, that is us. Like we're still. I mean, I guess most bands would be, but like I feel like that's what we're doing. So to give advice on that's kind of a funny thing because we're literally in that
But
process
you know,
right now.
it feels like that to us that we're always clawing our way.
Yeah.
Because no matter how hard you get, it's never ends.
There's always another goal,
Yeah,
isn't it? There's always another
goal.
project. There's it, yeah.
But it's interesting because too, like I've known a lot of people through the years, and I know a lot of bands that kind of shoot up and then they give up. I've seen so many bands just quit. So some people say to me like, "Oh, wow, you guys explore so much." So I'm kind of proud of what we're doing because we haven't given up. I don't know, it's kind of cool. We have albums. We have another one coming out. When you look at it that way, like I have an issue that I'm trying to be better at it, but it's not easy to kind of look back and appreciate of what you already have or what you achieve, and kind of look at it and then go to your next goal, because like I have time to just forget or not appreciate the process. But it is I don't know, we've done a lot. It's kind of crazy to look back at it.
I think it's very common in human psychology to kind of not look back far enough, where, especially if you have a personality type, which I do, you kind of always kind of self-punishing a little bit, self-criminating. It's like, you're not doing enough, you haven't succeeded enough, and then you're always looking forward, and your focus is always there. And then when you actually sit back and you look back and go, about 2 years ago, I was doing that, and now I'm doing this, and I think that's another strong voice is like regularly, like every 3 months or 6 months, evaluate the last year, evaluate the last 2 years. So just stop, take that moment in time. This is a bit more Buddhist philosophy. Take that moment in time to actually get a wider view of your past and your journey, because you will surprise yourself.
I know. I'm thinking like we've been to Japan, we've been to Iceland, like both places. Like Europe again. It's kind of crazy to think about that. So it's cool.
It really is all about perseverance to me. Like, it's, just keep going. If you have the passion, if you have goals that you have in mind, like we were saying, just keep going. You're gonna, even tour by tour, like we run the things every tour. So it's like, okay, I know it's cliche, but like it's about the journey to some extent, and the day by day crap that we deal with. Like it's worth it to play the shows at the end of the day, and then you get those days off, and then all the crap, and then the show at the end of the day. Like at least every day ends on a high note. So and then you go home, and then you wish you were back up there. So even with all the bullshit you have to deal with, so.
As long as you have your energy drinks, you're good.
Oh.
I finished one while we were doing the interview.
Yeah.
But it's all fun to me though. It's
As long as I get my coffee.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, I'm terrible. I'm both. I'm coffee plus energy drinks. Because I understand nicotine as well, you know.
Well, he knows I actually down one of each today already. Needed them both.
So I think that's what keeps the creative mind buzzing. You just have to be on this weird high. But actually, like I know people that drink coffee and they don't get high from it. They just kind of relax, and I'm one of those. You know, and I watch people around me going absolutely buzzing, and like, how are you drinking eight cans of energy drink a day? You know,
maybe you should chill on that.
Maybe. I get told I should chill a lot. But
It's a bit much.
No chill, just do it. Well, that was when I was chefing full time, and you're in hot kitchens, you know, like 12 hours a day, and you're grinding it out. You know.
That's a hard job.
Now, again, look, it's a slightly more leisurely life. My life is now driven by social media. Which is a hard thing, as I'm sure you know.
24/7.
24/7. Any words from a wisdom from a sound engineer? You're also on tour with these guys. Do you want to jump in the chair and say a few words? Never forget the sound engineer. These guys are worth their weight in gold. Oh, okay, cool. There we are.
You heard No, it's been really fun hanging with these guys. It's always
Fourth tour?
fourth tour with these guys. We've come a long way. I remember seeing them for the first time. I only knew that Jimmy told me that he's like, oh, I'm in this metal band with this cool singer, and they're looking
very cool. Very cool singer.
He's Sugar Cube.
So yeah, I saw them at the whiskey in LA, and ever since then,
That was my first show.
oh yeah, those came for such. There was a lot of firsts for all of us on that day, and it's kind of like fate, I think. You know, all meeting and hanging out, and ever since then,
First trip in Europe for you.
Yeah, that's
wow.
true. This is my first time.
Welcome.
Europe.
Welcome. Let's see the world.
Yeah, but yeah, since then, you know, it always gets a little bit better, a little bit sharper, and it's fun to kind of sort out all these challenges with these guys. They're a good group of people, and yeah, man, we're always progressing and having a good time, and I learn a lot every tour, and
It felt like for me watching that you were kind of cheated out of it at a sound test today. The times against
a little bit,
yeah.
But you know what? We've been used to that before. That's not a new problem. So we definitely work together, and we have each other's backs on tour. Not only driving and traveling, but on stage and off stage as well. So.
Out of interest, this is purely for my personal kind of mind, because I mix some kind of stuff from home, and I've kind of been learning doing that journey.
Yeah.
And I was watching you doing the kind of the engineering before everyone turned up, and I was wondering, actually, does everything like the resonance of things like kick drums and vocals, you're doing it in an empty room, and then there's obviously going to be a change when that room is full of bodies. But just put it how like the absorption of bass frequencies and things like that. Is that a thing that you kind of come prepared for, and like do you kind of do a mental calculation, and then are you most more often than not right when it's full and active?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, the best thing is if you got it tamed when the room is empty. When people come into the room, it's always gonna, absorb a little more, which is a good thing, So as long as you have nothing feeding back, when it's all clangy and empty, you're gonna be okay when we'll get in there.
Is it more over the case that actually people actually help?
Yes, yeah,
oh, okay.
Very much so, yeah.
That helps our performance too.
Yes, exactly. They play a lot better too when people are in the room.
Sound engineer tick, performance tick, record company tick, social media tick,
Right.
It's hard to catch people's eyes when there's no one there.
Okay, no, cool. Well, we're obviously going to be hearing much more from Edge of Paradise in the future, and I wish you the best with the remainder of the tour. Thank you so much for your hospitality today. It's been a fantastic journey, both discovering band, experiencing it live. It was my first ever time the other side of the security fence, taking photos and videos. I've only actually been doing this aspect of probably my fourth gig, but this is the first big one. And so to be that close and what have you, and have the crowd behind me and get over all of that in my head, I'm like, okay, this is cool. So a memorable night for me.
Thank you for taking this time.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, anytime. We'll keep updated. And I don't just like to start talking to bands and kind of, you know, move on, where that's kind of what the business demands. But I always like to check in and follow. So you know, any plans, any bits and pieces that you come up with, if you want us to share or knock about, then you know, my inbox is totally open.
But that's the cool thing about music, because it connects people. Like, we've built so many relationships over the years, you know.
Yeah, they grow
From
fast.
people all over the world, so it's really cool.
It is really cool. It is really cool.
No borders for music.
Yes, music without borders. Unfortunately, borders in reality do exist, and they require vans with working panels and no sleep. But that's a problem we will never solve. So there we are. Okay, over and out.
Thank you.